Hi everyone, it's Darren from SimNation, and we just wrapped up an absolutely wild quarterfinal round in the college football playoffs. The road to the national championship is narrowing down, and the stakes have never been higher. Today we're recapping the biggest performances, the heartbreak, and looking ahead to two massive semifinal matchups. Let's dive right into the playoff results. In our first game, the top-seeded Terrapins took on Skeletor and his number 8 ranked Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. The top-seeded Terrapins made a massive statement early. Maryland absolutely dismantled ULM, led by a legendary performance from backup running back Jason Macon, who racked up 213 yards and while, three touchdowns. While the Maryland offense was clicking on all cylinders, ULM quarterback James Bonds really struggled to find a rhythm, throwing for only 150 yards and an interception. Maryland looked like the number one seed in this 55-14 win. In our second game, the Sharks Georgia Bulldogs took on Stewart's UCLA Bruins. This one was an absolute slugfest down south. Georgia's Paul Renfro was clinical under center, throwing for 326 yards and 4 touchdowns to lead the Bulldogs past the Bruins. UCLA's offense stayed competitive, but their defense simply couldn't get off the field, surrendering a massive 540 total yards to the Bulldogs. Georgia's balanced attack was just too much to handle, and the final result was 48-38 Georgia. In our third game of the quarterfinals, Invisible Witnesses Auburn took on My Texas Tech. Auburn's aerial assault was on full display in this one. Quarterback Ismael Counts led a passing attack that totaled 407 yards, slicing right through the Texas Tech secondary. On the other side, despite a valiant effort, tackle Ryan Taylor racked up 14 pancake blocks. The Texas Tech defense struggled to get stops, allowing 618 total yards. Auburn moves on with plenty of momentum with this 43-20 win. For Jamar Trajo and Jeffrey Blankenship, it was not the way that they wanted their last 4 years in Lubbock to end, as Trajo only threw for 219 yards and 2 touchdowns and 1 interception, and Jeffrey Blankenship left the game early in the second quarter. In our final game, undoubtedly the game of the playoffs so far, Matt's Clemson Tigers took on Stewart's Michigan Wolverines. Michigan pulled off the upset in a 101-point thriller. It was a tale of two quarters. Clemson dominated the first and Michigan the second. Wide receiver George Marcotte was the hero of the Wolverines, catching 2 touchdowns and racking up 157 yards. Michigan survived despite a staggering 3 lost fumbles that kept Clemson in the game. Additionally, they lost Dunning earlier in the game, who was off to a great start and had to be replaced by Abney. Clemson's Daniel Lim was a monster on defense with 3 sacks, but it just wasn't enough to stop the Michigan comeback in the second half that allowed them to win the game 52-49 on a field goal in the last 16 seconds of the game. Looking ahead to the semifinals, the first game up is the number 1 Maryland Terrapins versus the number 5 Georgia Bulldogs. This is Shark versus myself. This is a battle of the Titans. Maryland enters without starting quarterback Shaka Chung, running back Simon Buford, and starting quarterback Bobby Gardner. They will also be without backup quarterback Eugene Hill. Maryland's ground game with Jason Macon will face a Georgia defense that just had major trouble stopping the big plays against UCLA. Can Maryland find a quarterback that can match Georgia's Paul Renfro and his ridiculous efficiency? This one will be decided in the trenches, and it may not go the way that most people think. Will Shark get his first win against Maryland in the playoffs and in total, or will Maryland be able to get their 7th win against the Bulldogs? Our second matchup of the day will focus Invisible Witnesses Auburn against Stewart's Michigan Wolverines. Auburn is coming in relatively at full strength, recently seeing key players like cornerback Thomas Coyle and wide receiver Charles Starnes recover from previous knocks. Michigan will have questions under center as Dunning is doubtful with a bruised cheekbone. Also doubtful are safeties Garford Tuckle and Cornelius Thompson. In defensive end, Peter Young is out. If Auburn's Ismael Counts finds his rhythm early, Michigan's secondary is going to be in for a very long afternoon. In the end, the game will likely be determined who can run the ball best, as Daniel Huffman and Larry Hardaway are two of the best running backs in the country. Prediction times. So who advances to the national championship? In the first matchup, Maryland would have been my choice due to the history and their high-powered offense and defense, but the loss of their top two quarterbacks make the Terps one-dimensional or force them to rely on a freshman quarterback. That gives the game to Shark in Georgia, who will make the most out of the gift that the injury gods have handed them. Prediction, Georgia 28, Maryland 21. In the second game, I'm taking Auburn. While Michigan has been the cardiac kids of this tournament, Auburn's 400-yard passing potential is too difficult to shut down for 4 solid quarters. And if you do shut it down, they'll get you with the run. I like Auburn 35, Michigan 30. What do you guys think? Let me know your predictions down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more SNCFL playoff coverage. We'll see you in the finals. Thank you, as always, for your support and have a great night.